It is Michigan-Ohio State week. It's Mustache Monday. Look, I got Saturday. I said keep this to the 27th. But if they win, I'm keeping it forever, believe me. But I want to know from you guys. I was talking to a few friends, talking to some Michigan fans over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and thinking about what's the first Michigan game you remember, a game that they beat Ohio State, a Michigan win over Ohio State, the first one you remember. And if you didn't become a fan until you were an adult, you might have, oh, yeah, I remember that one year, etc. Mine is 1991, right? Maybe been a young boy. I went to an Ohio State-Michigan game in the 80s, really young, but I don't really remember it much at all. But I do remember 1991, Desmond Howard. Remember that game around the house. I was, young, but nevertheless, I do remember that. Remember the punt return for a touchdown. And I think actually there's a couple hazy memories in there in the mid-90s, but really started to get excited about Michigan football in 1995 in that upset win over number 2 Ohio State. So type down in the comments. Let me know what your first Michigan win over Ohio State is, which is the first one that you remember. All right, we're going to talk Michigan football grades from Saturday's 59-18 win over Maryland and give you some insights and thoughts how I think that Josh Gattis, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Macdonald, the offense, the defense, and the special teams did on Saturday on the road against Maryland. Let's start off with Michigan football's head coach, Jim Harbaugh, in his 7th year. I think he's getting an A, right? Like, I don't know what else you can give. Maybe an A+. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Michigan made some mistakes or he did something that he could have done better. I actually saw one person in the social media commenters, I think it was a YouTube commenter, actually said, why the heck didn't Harbaugh keep J.J. McCarthy in the entire second half? And that's actually a pretty good one. My producer, Jeremy, we were watching the game on Saturday, he said the same thing. He's like, why don't you leave McCarthy in? And I actually agree with that one, but that's not why I'm giving him just an A. I think in general, like there were some things that Michigan could have done better. So an A is a pretty good grade for Jim Harbaugh. But that's my grade. Let me know what your grade is, Jim Harbaugh's performance against Maryland. Go down, give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. Pluses and minuses are permitted, so you can certainly toss in a A+, A-, B+, whatever you want. But really interested to know what you guys are thinking about Jim Harbaugh's performance on Saturday against Maryland. But Josh Gattis, I really liked what I saw from Josh Gattis on Saturday. So I'm giving him a little bit of a curve. I think maybe it's an A grade, A- because there were some questionable play calls early on. And there were some drops here or there that weren't his fault. But because of the curve, because I've graded him harshly in the past, he gets an A+. Let's take a look at the stats. Michigan, Maryland on offense, 503 yards for Michigan, 151 on the ground, 352 through the air. No turnovers, which has been pretty much a staple this year. Is very few turnovers, very few sacks, very few negative plays for Michigan. So Josh Gattis gets an A+. But I want to know from you guys what your one-word reaction is. So go down in the comments here on the Michigan Football Report YouTube channel. Comment your one word to describe Gattis' play calling versus Maryland. And I'm going to go with this. My one word is where this been. It's not one word, but I'm thinking about it on the spot. Where this been? Creative is what I'm going to give him as my real one-word reaction. Go down in the comments. Let me know. You may get hit with a YouTube ad break here at this part of the show. So if you do, scroll down. I'll pin this comment beneath the video. Give me a one-word reaction. Scroll up, and we'll be back with Mike Macdonald's grade. Michigan defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald gets a B+ in this game. Looked good early, right? Only gave up one score in the first half, but he gave a couple touchdowns in the third quarter. A couple interesting ones where to his brother ran a little wild, a couple plays, but nevertheless, B+, pretty good grade. He's pretty much been an A grade all season long, and he can become a legend on Saturday. This Ohio State offense is coming in with the hype and the stats similar to the greatest offenses in college football history. Had they, not had that one loss to Oregon and had C.J. Stroud not struggled a couple games, people might be saying like, wow, this is one of the best offenses in college football history. This is LSU 2019. This is better than last year's Alabama offense. But nevertheless, they didn't live up to that hype, but they are coming in with stats that say they are unstoppable at this point in the college football season. So if Mike Macdonald gets a victory, if he can hit C.J. Stroud, what's his real name? Is Cordale or something like that? It's some weird name. I'll have to look back up. No, it's not Cornelius. It's like Cordale Bernard Stroud the fourth or something like that. It's not Cordale, but it's something weird. If he can stop these guys, these three wide receivers that'll have 1,000 yards this season, this freshman phenom running back, this superstar quarterback, and the offensive line that they have, he will become a legend. But I want you guys to join me all together now. Say it out loud, all right? I don't care if you're on a train right now, if you're at an airport, if you're sitting there with your boyfriend, girlfriend. They're going to be like, what are you doing if you got AirPods on? Say go blue. Go blue. Chugs, nice. Chug, producer Chugs, he's on the squad. He's a Michigan guy now. He's saying go blue. Also type it in the comments. I'm feeling the karma. Maybe I'm too negative, and this is pretty interesting. Started dating my wife in 2004, right? We were both young lad and gals in college. And it's really been a rough go for us as a couple since then with Michigan and Ohio State. So she said, put out good karma into the world. Don't blame me, James, for the losses just because we started dating right when the tide started to turn. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you guys, Michigan fans, to type go blue. If you're an Ohio State fan, take your phone, throw it in the trash, and smack yourself over the face because I don't like you, and I hope bad things happen to you on the football field. That is not in real life, but on the football field this Saturday. And hope good things happen to you, Michigan football fans. If you're sports gamblers or if you want to become sports gamblers, we're hooking you up with the deal of the year. We've had it going on for a second week in a row now. Take advantage of it because after this, unless Michigan makes the college football playoff, this is the last time we're going to be able to offer it this year. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Promo code GoBlue. Our sportsbook partner, BetUS, where I place all my bets. 125% deposit bonus. And if you get going before Saturday's game, or I guess by Saturday's game, and make one bet, $100 deposit minimum, you'll get a Jordan Brand Michigan football jersey. So to redeem that, you've got to email us, jersey@chatsports.com. We'll get some information for you. We'll get your account number, make sure we know what size and where to ship it. Get hooked up this holiday season with BetUS and Chat Sports. Email jersey@chatsports.com after you go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. But I have to stress, you've got to go to chatsports.com/GoBlue so they can track where you came from, track your promotion on that one. It's caused all kinds of headaches if you don't. Cade McNamara gets an A for his performance against Maryland on Saturday. One of his better games in a Michigan uniform. And it was kind of a sneaky good game because, early on, hit a couple passes that went through Cornelius Johnson's hands, and Michigan didn't get a fourth down, et cetera, et cetera. You're like, oh, this is a pretty interesting game. And he only threw, 4 passes in the second half. So 21 of 28, 75 yards, a couple touchdowns, 259 yards passing. A really nice pass inside the 5 to Luke Schoonmaker early on. So I like what I saw out of Cade McNamara. J.J. McCarthy got in there, 5 of 5 as well, for a touchdown, and then added a rushing touchdown. So altogether, the quarterbacks did a really nice game in that one. So I'm giving Cade McNamara an A. Running backs get an A+. And it's not like Michigan tore it up on the ground. Hassan Haskins had himself a pretty decent game. But the guy there pictured in that last one was the difference maker for Michigan. But Haskins did what he needed to do. I think 20 carries maybe a tad high. I kind of wish Donovan Edwards would have had a few more carries. 20 carries for 78, 2 touchdowns for Haskins. But the story of the day was true freshman running back Donovan Edwards, an all-time Michigan record for 170 yards receiving, most by a Michigan running back all time in a single game, and a touchdown, a beautiful 77-yard cutback on that one. So big-time game for Donovan Edwards. I am so excited to watch him for at least the next 2 years or more in a Michigan uniform. And I think Saturday's game against Maryland was just the tip of the iceberg of what he can do in a Michigan uniform. Hassan Haskins has rushed over 1,000 yards in this season, doing all that while splitting carries for almost all of the year, the first 9 games of the year with Blake Corum. So I know a few members of the Haskins families are viewers of this show. They've commented before, so type congrats. I hope if the Haskins family watches this episode, they see a ton of congrats going on there, and they can relay that to Hassan. Shouldn't be anything he's surprised by, but all the support, all the good vibes this week is going to lead us to a Michigan football victory over Ohio State. Type congrats down below. The wide receivers get a B+ for me. And nobody tore it up in this game, but no one had a terrible game except for Cornelius Johnson. So let's take a look at the stats here. No one tore it up. I'm giving it a B+ because they made a couple plays, most notably Mike Sainristil and Andrew Anthony, some circus plays, kind of going behind your back to over the head to make a one-handed or one-hand tip catch that you pulled in. But Cornelius Johnson had a couple drops early on that were kind of uncalled for. And Roman Wilson and some others, Mike Sainristil, they just haven't produced enough. But in a victory, in a victory over Maryland, in a game where they didn't make any bonehead errors, I'm going to go ahead and give the receivers a B+. Offensive line gets an A. They overcame some errors, a lot of errors from Penn State last week. There was 5 or 6 penalties, including a couple of false starts, a couple holds in that game. Seemed to have cleaned that up. Didn't get a ton of push on on the offensive line from the running game, but was able to protect the quarterbacks and give Cade McNamara, J.J. McCarthy time to pass, and even time to pass when there were longer developing routes, especially a couple of those ones to Donovan Edwards out of the backfield. Tight ends are getting a B. Didn't really have anything from Eric Gall. He dropped I think it was a third down or fourth down early on in the game. But Luke Schoonmaker had a really nice catch on his touchdown. He had 2 catches for 11 yards on this game. The only 2 catches were one of the 2 catches were his touchdown. So he didn't have a ton of yards, only 11 yards. But that was a really nice play call from Gattis on his 1 touchdown. They had a quick play action pass, then a pass to the outside to Schoonmaker, and he got himself in the end zone. So I give the Michigan's tight ends, giving them a B on this one. But I want to know from you guys, do you believe that Michigan can beat Ohio State this year? It's a very simple question. Simple answer is what you're going to give me. Y or N? Make it simple. No, give me any long, extended answers. Y or N? I say Y. I'm putting a Y down in the comments. I think Michigan can do it. I believe they can do it. And my post-game show on Saturday is just going to be me pouring beers myself. Jeremy's going to get the shots out. It's going to be a shit show in here. Jeremy, call off work on Sunday. Nope, you didn't get permission from me to do that, but you might just want to call off on Sunday because I told you, if Michigan beats Ohio State, we might go to Vegas on Saturday night. I'm not joking. We might go to Vegas on Saturday night. All expenses paid by me. We're doing it. We're going to land in Vegas about 8 o'clock. We're going to just go straight to the club, put a few thousand on blue. I don't know if they do that, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to have all kinds of fun. I am just going to paint the town red if Michigan wins, so I believe that they can beat Ohio State. Let's take a look at the defense. I'm going to kind of give you the grades here, then break away and talk on a few of these different positions. You see the grades there: B+, A, and B for Michigan's defense and special teams on this day. But defensive line, no sacks for Aiden Hutchinson or David Ojabo. So they both have a little bit of work. Ohio State game, Big Ten championship game, and bowl games to college football playoff games to break the sack record of 12 held by Lamar Woodley. My hope is that, hey, maybe Michigan wanted Ohio State not to be thinking so much about the defensive ends, right? That's my hope. Maybe they just said, hey, lay off a little bit. Don't give all your all to Tua's brother. Let him throw some interceptions. Let him get a few passes off. Let other guys get in there and get some sacks, get some hits. So no sacks for those guys. But these defensive ends will either win or lose the Ohio State game, right? There's nothing else I can say about it. If they hit C.J. Stroud, I saw Stroud's eyes against Oregon, okay? I saw into his eyes against Oregon, a little bit against Penn State, Nebraska. When he gets hit or when things aren't going his way, he gets frustrated. I don't think he believes himself. I think he's playing an offense that plays to his skill set very well, and he's been very successful. Could even win the Heisman Trophy. But if you hit him in relatively cold weather, cold for him from a California guy, I think Michigan can win this game if you do not hit him. And he has time to throw, folks. You know we're going to end up with this. It's going to be a bloodbath in Ann Arbor, especially if Stroud has all day to throw with probably 3 of the 4 or 5 best wide receivers in the country. 3 of the 4 or 5 best, not the, you heard what I said there. So defensive end will win or lose this game. Linebackers kind of had a ho-hum game. Not really much I can say about the linebackers in this game that was super relevant to discuss. But the secondary, pretty good game. Little Tua Tagovailoa had 33 attempts in the day. He was 19 of 33. We'll toss up his stats here, come up in a second. So A for the secondary, which include DJ Turner's interception for a touchdown, which was a game-breaking play. There's a little time in the third quarter there where Michigan had 8 plays in sequence, and they scored touchdowns on 5 of them. You had the interception return, the Donovan Edwards play, and of course the kickoff kickoff throw Michael Barrett over to A.J. Henning were 3 of those that really broke this game open. G-Mon Green from the secondary traveled to Maryland. Surprising to me, all right? For what I had heard, he had not practiced all week. So the travel, that's not standard for what Michigan does. Nevertheless, he made the travel. So did Blake Corum. Sounds like they made the travel to Maryland, and they were in uniform warming up, that they will be able to play in this game coming up against Ohio State on Saturday. So that's good news. Michigan's going to need all the help they can get in the secondary to do this, to beat Ohio State again. I really want to get this victory, okay? I want it. I need it. I need it, Chugs. I need it. Okay, me and you are gonna do it together. Okay, we're gonna do it together, and you and I are gonna do it together here. The Michigan Football Report audience. I hope you're getting just as excited about this game as I am, and just put out the good vibes in the world. Comment, post it below. Talk trash to an Ohio State fan. If you see anybody with Ohio plates, just throw an orange at their car. It's all good. We're lawless nation anyway at this point. All right, beat Ohio State again. I'll be back on Tuesday with another Michigan Football Report. Until then, go Blue.